Bare necessities are Mother Nature's recipes that bring the bare necessities of life.
Yeah, that clip is going to make sense in a second. Creepypastas are horror-related legends or images that have been copied and pasted around the internet. The entries are user-generated and paranormal stories intended to scare. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. Hey guys, welcome back to the Most Amazing Top 5. I'm Court McGinley. Let's jump right into our list of the top 5 scary creepypastas that might be real. Coming in at number 5, Abandoned by Disney. That's right, the first creepypasta I'm hitting you with is a Disney-related one, hence the clip at the beginning of this video. So after the 1967 animated version of The Jungle Book came out, it was a hit, and Disney decided to begin construction on a jungle-themed resort. In the late 90s, they got to work on this park that would be located in Emerald Isle, North Carolina. The park cost $30 million to build, and it was going to be called Mowgli's Palace. A year later, when Disney was almost finished completing the park, they decided to pull the plug on the whole thing. They left the nearly completed project intact, the gates were chained up, and within days the park was abandoned. And now we get to the creepypasta part. Christopher Wolf shared his pictures and stories of the abandoned park online. So, a few years ago, the park was locked up and Chris decided to break in and check it out. When he got there, he could see a lot of broken locks and some sections of barriers were broken down as well. Once on the grounds, he said that he could feel something was off about this place. There was a bunch of graffiti that always said the same 3 words, abandoned by Disney. Shortly after entering the park, he started to hear whispers, but he thought it was in his head and he continued on to the Central Palace. Once there, he ventured deep into the lobby and saw a stairwell leading down to the only part of the whole park that wasn't defaced. It was a tiny door that said mascots only. He entered the room and went down a long hallway to a door that said character prep 1. He tried to open the door, but it was sealed tight. He turned around to walk away, but then heard a popping sound. He turned back around and noticed the door was now slightly open, so he went inside. In the room, he saw several Disney costumes hung on hooks, except for the Mickey costume, which was left slumped on the floor. He then noticed that the Donald costume was more decomposed than the others. He tried to lift the costume, but then something large dropped out of the headpiece and shattered at his feet. It didn't take long for him to realize that the object that fell was a human skull. Terrified, he dropped the Donald costume, turned around to run out the door, but when he turned around, the Mickey costume was in an upright position blocking the door. Terrified, he tried throwing the person in the costume off by taking a flash picture. It was then that Mickey said in a hushed voice, "Hey, wanna see my head come off?" Christopher ran from the room. He said he blacked out and he can't fully remember how he got out, but luckily he did. Some people have said that this is a hoax, but others believe him as they themselves have some weird stories from the park. But this picture going around online of Mickey definitely scared a lot of people. At number 4, the Russian sleep experiment. When this image made its way online, people were freaking out. Back in the late 1940s, Russian researchers thought it would be a good idea to keep people awake for 30 days straight using an experimental gas-based stimulant. These people were kept in a sealed environment so their oxygen intake could be safely monitored. The researchers needed to make sure the gas didn't kill them as it was toxic in high concentrations. Also, it's important to note that the test subjects were political prisoners deemed enemies of the state during the World War II. The people who did this experiment were also volunteers, as they were promised their freedom if they took part, but they were never really going to let them go. For the first 5 days, things were going fine. After day 5, the test subjects began to demonstrate severe paranoia. After 9 days, the first of them started screaming randomly for hours on end. On the morning of the 14th day, the researchers did something that they originally said they wouldn't. They used the intercom inside the chamber, hoping to provoke any response from the captives, as they were afraid they either died or were vegetables, as they were not making any noise. That day, the chamber was flushed of the stimulant gas and filled with fresh air. And immediately once this happened, the test subjects begged for the gas to be turned back on. They were now dependent on it. They had turned mad and parts of their bodies were ripped apart by the strain of the experiment. Their abdominal organs below the ribcage were removed, while the heart, lungs, and diaphragm remained in place. It also quickly became apparent that they were digesting their own flesh that they had ripped off and eaten over the course of a few days. Yeah, that's a really disturbing one, especially since it's been proven that human prisoners were used as test subjects throughout history. At number 3, Capgras Delusion. One of the really popular motifs in creepypastas is that of the doppelganger, which for those of you who don't know is a double or evil twin of a living person. This doppelganger seeks to replace the original. One of the most powerful creepypastas of this type is only 2 sentences long, and it goes goes like this. I began tucking him into bed and he tells me, "Daddy, check the monsters under my bed." I look underneath his bed for his amusement and see him, another him, under the bed staring back at me, quivering and whispering, "Daddy, there's somebody on my bed." This is a very real and very terrifying disorder known as Capgras Delusion. It's the root of many doppelganger creepypastas. The delusion typically manifests as part of another underlying mental disorder, such as dementia or schizophrenia, and causes the afflicted to react violently towards loved ones that they believe have been replaced with an imposter. Coming out at number 2, Jeff the Killer. Yeah, Jeff the Killer. If you've never laid eyes on this image of Jeff, then consider yourself lucky. But I'm gonna show it to you now anyway. Basically, it's said Jeff is a serial killer who hides in the closets of his victims and whispers out, "Go to sleep," before killing everyone in the household. What's even creepier is his appearance. His face is smooth and pale, and he always has a huge creepy grin on his face, and small eyelashes that have no lids. He's easily one of, if not the most recognizable creepypastas. His image has appeared on thousands of forums. In his origin story, it's said that he was in a fight and somehow chemicals burned his face and caused him to go insane. After this, he murdered his family and disappeared into the night to make guest appearances in your nightmares. So many people have claimed to see Jeff and yet somehow escaped. So I mean, you never know. He could be real. Coming in at number 1, Slenderman. This is one I've read all too much about. He's definitely haunted the forums of the internet. Slenderman is a tall, skinny man who has a white, featureless face. He wears a finely pressed suit and has extremely long limbs. Slenderman is said to prey on children in particular, but also those who become obsessed with his existence. Many people have claimed that they have seen this shadowy figure off in the distance, most commonly spotted in the woods, while some say that the Slenderman himself has rung their doorbells. It's said if you do see Slenderman, then he will start to stalk your life. He will look at you throughout your windows as you're sleeping and follow you everywhere. One person who made this claim is a popular YouTuber named Shane Dawson. In one of his urban legend and creepypasta videos, he talked about his own personal experience with Slenderman. There have also been stories in the news of teenagers killing their friends because they claim Slenderman told them to do so. Another teen set her house on fire because Slenderman told her to do so. So yeah, a lot of bizarre stories happening around this creepypasta. Alright, and there you guys have it. That's a list of the top 5 scary creepypastas that might be real. Thank you all so much for watching. Let me know what other lists you'd like to see down below. Don't forget to show us some love by subscribing to our channel and giving this video a big thumbs up, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.